I'm Richard and welcome to ZP Productions, and today, FedEx just dropped off this box for Viltrox. This is the Viltrox EF to R3 0.71 times autofocus adapter that is meant for the C70, Komodo, and even on the R5 if you want to use it at crop mode. The whole point is to fit a larger image circle from a full frame camera into a APS-C so that you get more light, similar bokeh, and similar field of view compared to full frame. So it is a very nice adapter, and if you own a C70 or a red Komodo, you probably want to get one of these just for, I won't say for fun. I mean, it has serious production value to it. But no, Viltrox actually provided me this copy today, so let's take a look at what's inside, what's the difference between the Viltrox version and the Canon version I have on my hand here, and then do a bit of comparison on the C70. Of course, it just came in today, so I didn't really have a chance to make any short film or what's not, no dance video or anything, but my friend Reef was so nice to be in the house at that point in time doing a photo shoot with me when this package arrived. So I just did a short little clip to just illustrate certain points using the Viltrox adapter. So let's take a look at what's inside the box here. So this is the box from Viltrox. It's slightly better than the Canon's box for sure. Okay. Open up the box here. The adapter is already outside, so there is just some papers here. This is the case itself, and then there is a hex key provided to you, and it's very important. And then this is the tripod mount. Now, the adapter when it first comes like this. You will notice that this is the adapter and this is the tripod mount. So the adapter, which is here, the Viltrox adapter, comes with the tripod mount attached. So being the very hasty guy I am, I took the adapter straight away, tried to slap onto my C70, and it was a big mistake because this adapter here is a bit thick and it juts out a little bit. So the C70, if you notice here, has a ridge at the bottom. I do not know whether you can see it's a jut out plastic here. So let me show you this photo here. I tried to actually screw my Viltrox adapter onto my C70, and it was a bad idea because it scratched my C70 instead. So no, nobody's fault here. I should have been more attentive when I tried to screw this Viltrox adapter onto my C70. But yes, the first thing you should do if you do buy the Viltrox adapter for the C70, use the hex key and remove the tripod mount. And just to note, this tripod mount is made of pure metal. It is like solid metal. You can feel it. So unlike the Canon adapter, which comes with nothing but the adapter itself, at least the Viltrox version comes with a tripod mount that you can actually mount it nicely. So let's take a look at the adapter itself, and of course, compared to the Canon, how does it feel like? Firstly, in terms of weight, they feel really, really similar. It's like metal built and then with a lot of glass inside. So when you do hold both of them, I would say as the Viltrox feels a slightly lighter, but that's about it. Now, the Viltrox have the two mounting holes, same as the Canon version, just that you mount the tripod mount onto it. And when you actually open it up, this is how it looks like, same as the Canon version. The only difference is that there is no rubber, lining for this back mounting plate, unlike the Canon's version. Let me show you. See here? I'm not sure you can see it, but there's this rubber stuff here. So what it means that this Canon version do help you to seal it against dust and moisture. So it's a bit of weather sealing here. The Viltrox doesn't have that, so that's one thing to note. And also the Viltrox doesn't have that, these two jut out points from the Canon. And these two jut out points is actually meant to mount this adapter onto the C70 so that it's very secured. The Viltrox doesn't have that too. And that is a very nicely built adapter. The buttons, should I say? Or is it I say as the switch itself is quite good. Everything is made of pure metal, so it's really solid as you can see here. Now, how does it actually mount onto the C70? As I said, I was a bit hasty at the time, so after I removed the tripod, I could easily mount it on my C70. So when you mount it on the C70, it looks exactly like this. So as I said, this thing doesn't have that two ears at the side that you can actually hold down onto the C70, so it does shake just a little bit. Once you mount the Sigma onto the Viltrox adapter, it looks like this, exactly how it should look like for adapted lens. This is the Sigma 40mm f1.4. It's a very big and heavy lens, over 1.2 kg if I'm not wrong. The only issue with this Viltrox so far, other than the tripod mount trying to scratch my camera a bit, which is my fault other than anybody else, is that this EF mount is tight, but not super tight. There is a little bit of play to it, especially rotational play. Of course, you cannot bend it forward and backward. It's tight enough that that won't happen, but definitely there is some rotational play to it. Now, this rotational play, I think, is not a big deal to most lenses unless you're mounting very heavy lens like this Sigma lens itself. Then the rotation play is quite obvious. If not, if you mount lighter lenses, I think it's more than tight enough. So unlike the Canon version, which is really tight, I would say there's almost no play to it. The Viltrox version has a little bit of play, and that's pretty much the only downside I had with the adapter itself. So once you mount it, you can easily on your C70 and you get full communication, as you can see here. In fact, you can even hear the C70 focusing, so I'm not really sure you can see anything. I don't think you can see anything, but yes, it's actually focusing properly with the adapter on. So let me show you some videos to actually do a bit of comparison on how it looks like versus the Canon's version, and of course how sharp is it and what's not. Firstly, let me show you with the Sigma lens and the default adapter, which have no glass. This is how it looks like. So it obviously works, the autofocus works. It's not very fast to start with the Sigma lens onto a C70. So that is pretty much what to expect. Now after that, I mounted the Viltrox adapter with the Sigma Art. This is how it looks like. Then, I took the Canon version, did the same thing, and this is how it looks like. What happened is I stacked both of them together and punched in 200% to show you guys both things, color and of course sharpness. Now in terms of sharpness, they look really, really similar. I think there's almost no difference in them. If there's any, it's probably nitpicking at 200%. And then next, in terms of color-wise, the Viltrox is slightly more pink, slightly more magenta if you ask me, and I would say it's slightly brighter too. While the Canon version is slightly warmer and just a touch darker. But that's really about it. The field of view is very similar, as you can see in this comparison here. The head size is about the same, 200% zoom in, about the same. My subject Reef was standing at the same place. My C70 was on the tripod. Of course, it rotated a little bit. But overall, the general, I'll say as the general zoom factor, or is it crop factor, I'm not too sure, is about the same, 0.71 times, and it looks really close to each other. So no issues on that. So at least in optical performance, it seems to be very similar to the Canon, just a slightly different in terms of color. So it's a personal preference on that point. Next, I actually tried the autofocus part because it is called an autofocus adapter on the box here. So I show you autofocus performance with the Sigma. Once again, you'll notice that the performance is very similar to just using the Sigma alone. I didn't feel any much difference. So you can see my subject moving towards me, moving away from me, then move out of the frame because my focus box is just in the center. So she moved all the way to the left and then it out of focus, and then she moved in, it went back into focus. So focusing doesn't seem to have any problem with the Sigma 40mm 1.4 Art. Now, of course, this is not a very comprehensive test. I just received it today, so it's a very quick test to show you how it works. But, it seems to work pretty well and very comparable to the Canon, because when I tried the Canon version, it pretty much looks the same, other than the slightly different tint of color. For the initial conclusion, what will I say? Firstly, of course, the Canon version is better fit and form. It is meant for the C70. You can tighten it down, and then the fit and form is slightly better. But look at the price here. The Viltrox is half the price of the Canon. And unless you're mounting heavy lenses such as the Sigma, the play probably don't matter too much. And overall, the optics looks about the same to me, at least, doesn't give me any additional sharpness. For my preliminary test, I'll probably do a more extensive one, stopping down to f2.8 and f4 in the future. Didn't have much time today. But what can I say is that if you are looking for adapter and you are using a C70 or maybe the future crop sensor RF, or maybe you want to use the R5 in crop sensor mode, or you're using the red Komodo and you want adapter and you're not intending to mount super heavy EF lenses, then I will say as the Viltrox is definitely one of the best options you can get. Even in mount heavy lenses, it's a rotational play, not a forward-backward lean play, so I don't think it's a big deal. So definitely the Viltrox at half the price is a very good deal if you want a 0.71 times adapter, which will allow you to, firstly, get more light, secondly, have a field of view very similar to full frame, and lastly, you get very similar bokeh to full frame too. So it's a win-win situation. Why not try to get your hands on it, have fun with it. Now, if I had the ability, or should I say, if the Viltrox adapter existed when I was buying my C70 a few months back, I would have bought the Viltrox adapter rather than the Canon's one. Because, firstly, the difference is very minor. Secondly, it's a very niche equipment because I don't use that much EF lens because I jumped to my RF equipment long ago. So it's a niche equipment to me, and I occasionally use it when I really want that bokeh-licious look. So no, I would have bought the Viltrox adapter because it works pretty okay. Optically seems to be fine. Autofocus seems to work. Overall, I would say it's a better value for money, significant better value for money than the Canon's version. And I don't intend to put this permanently on my camera, so no way I'm going to screw this down and tighten it up. Nope, it's not going to happen. So the Viltrox adapter is actually a better option for me. The only biggest, I would say as the only true advantage I see so far is that this guy has a rubber lining, so it is weather sealed, or should I say it is weather resistant. Not weather sealed, weather resistant. So if you are shooting in light rain, I would definitely say the Canon one is better. But if not, I don't see a reason to buy a Canon's version unless you feel like you need to spend more money on it, or you really like the warm color tone on the Canon adapter itself. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this short little review. It's the Viltrox 0.7 times EF to R3 autofocus adapter, and it's very new. This is, once again, as I said, provided to me by Viltrox to actually do a short review here. Now, in a few months' time, I will probably do up more videos, do dance videos, do singing videos, do some coverage of events. I will come back to you guys with more information on the adapter once I try it a little bit more, because I don't foresee myself using it that often, as once again, I use mainly RF lenses. So when I do use the EF lenses, I use the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8. So actually, my chance of using this adapter is quite low. In fact, this adapter from Canon itself was used less than maybe 10 times so far. It's only for a very specific purpose. So I'll try my best to use the Viltrox adapter to give you a complete story in the future, so that I can help you guys save the money when you can save the money. Because I would say the Canon form and fit is definitely better, but is it worth the extra value for you? Because autofocus and optical quality seems very similar. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.